Upload. All right. Just tell me when you were going.
We're going.
Okay, well, happy Monday, guys. I am going to turn it over to Val because she's already got her whole outline. I love Val because everybody else that's on the Zoom, they're like, can you just ask me questions? And Val's like, I got this. If you have any questions, like you can pop on or whatever. I'm like, great. I got my notebook ready. I'm ready to just take notes and take in all your greatness.
Oh, it cracked me up. Like I was talking to my husband just earlier because I had actually had the idea of like, I had this epiphany of like, oh, hold on, this is kind of good. But I had it last night, like at 10 o'clock, and I didn't write it down. And so I was like, oh, I'll remember it. It was like one of those moments. And then like I'm sitting there and it's like 8 o'clock and I'm like, I had this idea and I told Stormy that I had this like, I know where I'm going with it and I can't remember it. Help me remember it. But I did. I have most of my notes written down. It's going to be half like outline and half kind of flying by the seat of my pants. But I think we're all kind of used to flying by the seat of our pants sometimes. So, hey guys, I'm Valarie. If you guys don't know who I am, Sideline Sisters. And Stormy and I have been in the business pretty much the same amount of time. I think she started just a few months before me. And so it's been fun to watch her team grow and to see all of you guys find success. And I know that you guys are searching for even bigger success. I know that right now it's a time to be planting seeds and really truly focusing on that consistency. But at the same time, I know consistency can be very difficult during November and December because there are tons of distractions, right? We have Thanksgiving coming up. We have kids home, first of all, which I feel all of you guys who said that your kids like have been home one day. We have been self-quarantined for 14 days because we were in close contact with my mother. And so I've had kids home for 2 weeks, plus it ran straight into Thanksgiving. And my husband's home throwing off my routine and my game. So y'all pray for me and my patience and my sanity because I like having my silence and everyone doing their own thing. I'm like, y'all leave me alone. Leave me alone. So consistency is so important, but we struggle with it, right? Especially during the holidays. We're distracted right now this time of year. But this is such a crucial part to growing your business and building your business when you are looking forward to January conference, February, March, and you guys tell me in the chat. By the way, also side note, I am a former teacher and I'm the one that calls on people when their head is down and like not looking at me. So I'm gonna need for you guys to participate in the chat, please, and give me some interaction. This is gonna be an interactive type of Zoom. But you guys tell me what's your goal for not for December, for January. Let's just start there because I know some of you are like probably wanting VIP, or maybe you're Ruby and you're wanting diamond or double or triple. And so I don't want like the May and June goal. I want like January, February. What is your goal? Are you a Ruby that's pushing for diamond? Are you an Emerald pushing for diamond? Are you a diamond trying to re-rank? Like, be vulnerable. It's okay. I feel like the fact that if we can be vulnerable, I feel like everybody needs to be able to share a struggle and be vulnerable. Diamond, ruby, diamond. I was expecting a lot of diamonds and rubies to pop up in the chat. Okay, perfect. So I want you to imagine that goal right now. Okay. And imagine the work that you are putting in right now. That's the work that's going to show in January and February. Okay. I have made the mistake before of coasting into January and getting the late start, seeing other people boom in January and February, and my boom didn't come until, like, my team's boom didn't come until March, April, May. And that's because I didn't take November and December seriously enough, and I lacked on the consistency parts. And so I have had seasons, that fourth quarter season, I have had seasons of consistency and I've had seasons of inconsistency. I've experienced both. And hear me when I say, if you run into January, don't start running in January, but if you start running now, it is a game changer. You are the one that jumps rank from Ruby, Emerald. I think of Stormy and I, whenever we first kind of promoted, we pretty much promoted almost back to back. We went Ruby and then Emerald in January. I think Stormy went diamond. I think we both went diamond in February, and then Stormy went double in March, and I went double in April. Like, it was one of those, it's not just to put like a promote one rank and you're done. Like, we promoted back to back to back to back to back. But it was because I remember that November and December, there was no slowing down. We were busting tail. Now, with that being said, busting tail equals consistency. And that is what we tend to struggle with, right? we tend to be distracted. Kids right now, routines thrown off. Sometimes we don't feel like it, right? And so why is self-development so crucial to your consistency? So I actually have a question for you first. I'm pretty sure it's a consensus. We all need better consistency, right? Can you guys put a 1 in the chat? Can everyone agree that we can always improve our consistency? Yeah, all the ones are already like flooding the chat. Same, put a 1 for me, okay? We all can improve our consistency. Even if you are a good, solid worker, we can always improve our consistency. Now, I'm gonna ask you this question. What does consistency look like to you? Describe that to me in your words. What does a consistent worker, or maybe consistency for you, what does that look like day to day or week to week, or month to month? Define that word consistency for you first of all, before I give you like my own definition. What would be consistency to you? And I'll give you guys like half a second to like pop in the chat real quick. Okay, repetitive tasks. I like that. Following up daily. Following up for sure is definitely something you do daily. Someone who posts consistently, who's always chatting with new people. I love that, Danny. Creating new leads, staying on top of everything, on what's important, setting goals, never giving up with no's, KPI. Okay, so you guys are definitely on the right track. So any sort of 6 list, non-negotiables, KPIs, I feel like we all can kind of put down. That's posting consistently on your stories, on all your social media platforms. It's following up daily, constantly doing those 1-day follow-ups. Tiffany Pfeiffer did a Zoom for my team about a month ago about follow-up, and I loved it, that she was just constantly, like every couple of days, she was popping in on that person. It wasn't always a follow-up of, hey, are you ready to order? But sometimes it was just like, hey, I was just thinking about you, wanted to leave some love in your messages, just constantly keeping it warm and keeping that connection there. So follow-ups, creating new leads is crucial. I feel like that's a Zoom for like a whole nother different day of constantly adding to your leads list. What are some of the others? The one we forget, and the one I did not see was, I don't think I saw it, and if you did, I'll give you a gold star for it. Self-development, I didn't see in the chat. We tend to miss it, right? It tends to be like the stepchild. We tend to miss it. We always want to do all the other things. If you have an hour's worth of work, what do? You follow up, you do host a post, you ask new people, you put in something in your stories. You're doing all of those tasks, and we tend to leave self-development at the end, okay? So just kind of keep that in mind when I ask you my next question. Okay, so now answer me this question. With everything that you're consistent at, that you're doing every single day, when you do all of that and you are consistent, how does that affect your business? Answer that question for me. When you're doing all of these tasks, your KPIs, we'll just call it KPIs. When you're checking all your KPIs off on a daily basis, what is happening to your business? It's moving, it's growing, it booms, it's growing positively, growth, more enrollments, better results. You get customers that you never thought you would, more conversations. I like the word developing. That was a good word, Christina. It's developing. Your business is moving towards that goal that you told me, right? Diamond, ruby, double, VIP. You're moving your business forward. So we all understand that consistency is important because we realize it makes our business grow and it's moving us towards the goal that we want. Now, here's my last question, then I'm done with questions for you guys for a little bit and you can listen, okay? My last question, and you can be vulnerable with this, okay? What are things that affect your consistency in a negative way? What are the things that happen that affect your consistency in a negative way? What are some of the things that happen to us? Okay, you hear no's. People tell you no. Life, plate full of life, your mood, busy, having a bad day, distractions, personal life, sidetrack, work. So no time. I can add no time to that. Negative mindset, self-doubt. Okay, this is what I wanted to point out. Okay, all of that is true, and I put me down for all of that. Our consistency, we tend to base our consistency on our life, our busyness, our mindset, how many no's we're getting, our self-doubt, our thoughts, our emotions, and our feelings. All of those are what you put down when it comes to what is affecting your consistency. But we know that consistency is action that helps build our business. So in order to fix, if I can use the word fix, in order to fix our consistency, in order to improve our consistency, sometimes we have this mindset of I'm just going to push, like I'm going to hustle, I'm going to grind, I'm going to push my way through. And I have worked my business that way too. And there are times that I have to sit down, I have to physically like kick myself in the butt and talk myself into it and say, Valarie, get your butt in gear and just get the KPIs done for goodness sake, because you will not be that leader that doesn't practice what she preaches. Okay. Like I talk to myself. I'm not very nice to myself, but it works for me. Okay. I have to do that sometimes. And sometimes I have to hustle and I have to grind. I have to not feel like it, but I have to do it anyways. But that doesn't work for everybody. And it's not exactly a fun way to run your business, right? We want to have fun with this business. We want to improve in this business. And we want this business to be something that we look forward to. And so that's why self-development is so important. And why I want you to add it to your KPIs and not skip it. And if anything, make it a priority. Make it the first thing you do when you wake up. Make it something that you do before you get to your work. And I know that feels like you're going to be wasting time, but hear me out, because it was our thoughts, our emotions, and our feelings. It was the like, I don't feel like it. All of that stuff affected our consistency in a negative way. And so if we want to affect our consistency in a positive way, we have to then capture those thoughts, capture those feelings, capture those emotions, and turn them into a positive thought. And how are we going to do that? How are we going to fix negative mindset? We're going to fix negative mindset with self-development. You can do all the KPIs in the world and send 100 post-to-post messages. That's not going to fix your mindset. What's going to fix your mindset is pouring good things into your mind, whether it's if you're a believer, if it's your Bible, if it's listening to sermons every single day or podcasts, whether it's listening to a life coach, Tony Robbins, y'all give me some more, Brene Brown, all those different people, right? I'm not thinking about all the names, but you guys know who I'm talking about, right? Our minds are so full of negative thoughts and mean things that we say to ourselves. We don't love ourselves. We hate ourselves. We have all these negative thoughts. I say things to myself that I would never say to anybody. Okay. And so in order for me to be able to control those thoughts, I have to be able to exercise that muscle. I have to be able to exercise my mind and to say, hold on, my thoughts are trying to control what I do. And we grow up thinking that our thoughts are going to control our actions. But guys, you can change exactly how you think. You can change how you think. You can control your thoughts. It's biblical. The Bible says, capture your thoughts and make them obey Christ. And if you're not a believer, you can still capture your thoughts. You are in control of your thoughts. They don't control you. I can tell myself, oh, Val, you look fat in those leggings, but then I change my angle, or maybe I put some different pants on and I'm like, oh, hold on, wait, I look kind of good today. I just changed my thought. I changed it. My thought didn't change me. I changed my own thought. And so that is why self-development is so important, and why we need to stop skipping it and stop putting it on the back burner and stop making it the last thing that we teach newbies, last thing that we do for ourselves, because it is the one thing. If you want to improve your consistency, if you improve your mindset, because when you feel good, right? When we feel excited, that's when momentum, think about if you've gone through a momentum season, it's fun, right? Like you want to message. I see Gina up there like, like it's exciting. Like you wake up and you want to message, you want to ask people, you want to post, you want to talk to all these different people, you want to get in the chats, you want to Zoom, you want to do all these different things. And it was your thought. You felt good about it. And so if we can feel good after we self-develop and we get on that high, almost like that runner's high, if we can get on that high of self-development, as soon as you're done with that self-development, jump right on into your KPIs. And I will put a stamp of guarantee on that day's work will be so much more productive than a day where you're trying to hustle and grind your way through and you feel like total garbage in your mind. So that's kind of like what I wanted to say in a nutshell. Basically, just your feelings are going to dictate, your positive feelings are going to dictate better work, and better work is going to equal better consistency. And we know, you told me in the chat, better consistency equals more success, which is why self-development is so important. So that's my little outline in a nutshell, Stormy, of what I like. That was like the aha moment that I had last night. I was like, oh, hold on, this is what I want to talk about. But those are my notes that I have. So I know it was kind of like short and sweet, and I'm not normally short and sweet, but I can elaborate also on whatever it is, questions. You lead the way. This is now your Q&A session.
Yeah, I was gonna say, first of all, if you guys have any questions in the chat, and for me, and I think a lot of us but because me and Val came in at the same time, like we weren't taught self-development. Like self-development was not a thing for several years. I mean, we've been in 5 years, and I would say it's really picked up momentum in the last 2.5, 3 years, something, I don't know, but I can't remember what happened yesterday. So
it's been a long time.
yeah, but I'm like, it was definitely not taught at first. And so, I know for me, like I kind of do this with self-development, I'm great with it. And then, I'm terrible with it. And the longer I go at being terrible with it, right, the worse my mindset gets. And then I can jump back in, and it's hard at first. But, Val, I feel like you have done, I don't know what I'm like, I can't think of the right word I'm looking for, but it has been really fun to watch you go from, I mean, like I said, we weren't taught self-development, and now Val has a podcast, right? So I feel like that she was the perfect person to bring on to talk about this, because that's been really cool to watch from the outside, I mean, and when you get her on and talk about self-development, when you get to a Diamond Weekend, or when you're around her, she's very, very passionate about it. Like she's very passionate about it, and it has completely changed the game for her. I want to talk about really quickly, and then I'll let you take the questions in the chat. I know this has not been the easiest year for you, okay? And you've been honest with it. Like you've been open, and you've had some really hard things in your business happen, even in a time when it was supposed to be booming, right? Like everybody was, like checks were going up and people were promoting. And so can you just speak to like how the self-development kept you afloat during that time? Because I mean, we have people in those places, right?
Yeah, I'll be vulnerable with my story. So if you guys don't know, my story's been about, 5 years in the making, but really and truly the past year and a half or so. I'm the same Val, but I just feel like I don't know. There's a difference. The way that I talk now is different than what it was even a year and a half ago. And so a year and a half ago, I promoted to Pres. I went Pres in March of 2019. And then over the summer, I had a full triple diamond leg just dissolve. They didn't go anywhere. It was just, they came in hot and heavy and then left as fast as they came. And my business took a hit. And I am grateful now, looking back at everybody else outside of that leg is still around. Like I have an amazing group of leaders who are so strong and so resilient. But they went through the trenches with me. And so as GV fell, I mean, that was the biggest fall and honestly, if I can say one thing that I was scared of when I was going Pres is I had this thought that when I go Pres, what if I lose it? And what happened? Like it did. I had that fear, even though I hit it, I still had that fear. And as fast as I got it, I lost it very quickly. So last year was a huge humbling. I actually have it as my Ray done. I saw this at TJ Maxx, and on one side it says be kind, but the other side says stay humble. And I keep this on my desk as a reminder because God gives and God takes away. And I was not a good steward of what the blessings that was given to me. I gave God all the glory, but I knew that I wasn't furthering the kingdom like I should have, like He's put on my heart. And it's taken me about a year and a half to be able to be vulnerable and say that without crying or feeling shame or guilt. But it's just a part of my story. And so we had a huge downfall last year where I went from Pres. I was paid as Diamond in December of last year. And this past year, it was the first year in 5 years that I had not promoted. I promoted every single year, either my husband's account or myself. And this past year, while I was cheering on all my sisters, and we had our own growth, I did not re-rank Pres at all this past year. The highest I got was triple, and that lasted for a few months. And that's just my identity was really caught up in my rank, and I hit top 150 for 2 years in a row. And that was my identity. My identity was income and rank and triple and Pres and VIP and all that stuff like that. Those goals are great to go after. Like I still want those goals, but my mindset is different. as to why I want them. I want them because I know my team's going to be coming along with me, because when I do re-rank Pres, I'm going to have new VIPs with that, because my old one's not there anymore. And so I just have a different mindset when it comes to this, because before I was building, it was me. And all the other promotions were just kind of secondary. I love my team. Don't please. I love my team. But just, I personally have a different mindset now. And so the reason that, the reason the podcast came about, and the reason why I've gotten so passionate about self-development, is because I had to go through the trenches. Because as I was sitting there looking at my GV and looking at my loss of rank and everything, I had to make a decision, and I had to say, okay, am I going to be a quitter? Which, y'all, I've coached volleyball for 11 years of my life, and I'm married to a coach. Quitting is not in my dictionary at all. I am not a quitter. And so I was like, well, that's off the table. But I did think about it. And so I was like, okay, so I have to figure this out. And that means I got to be able to be strong. And the only place that I know that I can get true strength from and true peace from is Jesus Christ. And so I poured into self-development. I poured into sermon after sermon, podcast after podcast, reading my Bible again every single morning. And that is what spurred on this secondary calling of the podcast. And God was like, Val, I have made you a coach. Like, you've been a coach since you were 19 years old, volleyball. And then in high school, more coaching. Now you do It Works. And what do? You still coach women, just in a different aspect. And now I'm calling you to do something else too. And you can put it on your plate. You can do it. I was afraid it was going to take away from It Works or what it was going to look like. But he was like, my calling is so much bigger than what you think you need to be doing. And it truly has been a blessing to be able to do both and influence both sides. And ironically, my coaching and my podcast has actually helped my It Works business, because people have found me because of my podcast. I even opened up brand rep applications this morning, and I have on there, where'd you find me? And it has like all the social media things. It said other, and it said podcast. So I have people reaching out to me because of this kingdom calling that I have. And I'm not telling you guys you need to get into ministry and all that stuff. That's just a personal conviction he put on my heart. But the reason I am still here today, being able to Zoom with you, is because of self-development. And I can be proud of the work that I did this past year, because I was consistent, or I've been consistent all year long. I said this at Diamond Weekend. I was not top recruiting. Like, I've had months where I've had 40, 50, 60 plus customers in a month. And while I didn't have those months, I had good months, like finishing my steps to success every month, signing, 10 plus distributors per month, having double-digit enrollments and loyal customers month after month after month. And I can come to you and say, in all honesty, that because of my self-development, getting up early every day, I made it a thing. When COVID happened, I started getting up at 6 o'clock. And then when school started, I started getting up at 5:30. And y'all, I'm not a morning person. Like, anybody who has seen me at a Diamond Weekend or any sort of thing knows I am not a morning person. But I get up and I read, because if I don't, my day is crap. It is absolute crap. And so I have just, I've just created a habit of self-development. And because of that, my year has not been like this, like good enrollments and then bad. My year has been steady, like steady enrollments every month. I'm showing up. Am I the top enroller every month? No. But am I proud of the numbers I'm putting in? Absolutely, because they look good. They're good numbers for the year. And I contribute 100% to my consistency of self-development, that I'm strong-minded and have an unwavering faith, and I can redirect myself when I do have those moments of comparison, jealousy. Y'all, the things I struggle with, my temptations, jealousy, comparison. Can anybody else like relate to that? If anybody wants to be vulnerable, you look left, you look right, this person's promoting, this person's doing this, and it rocks you inside and rocks your confidence. I have been able to train myself, because of my self-development, to be able to say that doesn't affect me, not near as much. Do I still have moments where I get in that comparisonitis? Yes. But am I able to snap out of it a whole lot sooner? Yes. And or I'm vulnerable enough to be able to contact my upline and be able to say, like, I will message Ashley and say, Ash, I'm having a moment, I need to talk to you. And I let it out and I let her know I'm having a moment where I'm like, I'm looking over here and over here. And I know that's not of me. I know that's not my, who I am. That's not where my value is. It's not where my worthiness is, but I've been caught up in jealousy and I need to just release it and I need to say it out loud. And that way, and you're my witness. And as soon as I say it, I feel so much better. I release it and I move on. And it's taken me a long time to say that because I used to just hold on to it and then it would turn into anger and it just get bad. And so, yeah, so it's been a long journey, but I'm proud of where I am. And I want to do everything I can to bring as many women with me on this road of saying, yeah, I am a confident person, but it's not just me. I want to influence more people to be able, I want you guys to experience a consistent year of not the burnout and not just the hustle and the grind and the my business is not fun anymore. I don't want you guys to be in that place, and it's going to come from self-development for sure.
Okay, I have one more question and then I wanted to go to the chat, but you kind of touched on what I was going to say. You said you get up every morning and you do your self-development first thing, and you already said that you want to lead your work with that, right? Because that puts you in that positive mindset. So if somebody on here is trying to create a routine, like what are some of your tips to get them into that routine? Or, what does that look like?
Yeah. Well, everyone's going to be different. And so, my piece of advice number one is don't knock it till you try it type thing. And it's going to feel uncomfortable, and don't substitute uncomfortable with it's not for me. Because if I had done that, then I would not be getting up early and getting in my self-development and my devotional and everything. Because like I said, I'm not a morning person. Like nobody's awake in my house whenever I get up, and that's a good thing. All I have is the cat next to me. And that's all I need to be dealing with at that moment. But if anybody, like, I don't want to talk to anybody. I can barely talk to people in the morning. So it's just me, God. It's my devotional on my phone. I have my Bible in front of me. When I'm done with that, sometimes I start playing a podcast. But I did not think that I was that person that would get up early. I saw lots of top leaders doing it. And I was like, no, that's not for me, because I don't like getting up early. Like I'm not a morning person. I don't function well in the morning. I made up all these excuses. But then whenever I found out that I actually could do it towards the end of the summer. So I just lost Pres. And I was barely maintaining triple, and I wasn't very strong-minded at the time. And so I decided something had to change. And so I was getting up at the time everybody else was getting up in my household, and it wasn't working. It wasn't working for me. And so I decided I'm going to start getting up early, and I'm going to see if I can get stuff done. If I can work from 6 till 8:30 or 9, I had a conversation with my husband, said I need fruit. Now he's the teacher, so he was home during the summertime. And he would handle the kids until 9. And then I was able to, within 3 hours, I was able to do my self-development, get all my non-negotiables done, get all my messages done. By 9 o'clock, I was done. And so then the rest of the day, I was just reactive, answering messages, knowing I hit all my, at the time, non-negotiables throughout the day. And that truly changed. I had a really great August, September, October, November last year because I had that consistency. So whenever COVID happened, I decided, okay, I got to get up early. Again, I just got to do it. I just got to get up at 6 o'clock. And so I did that. And then when I did it all through the summer, I don't get up on the weekends, just Monday through Friday. And then when my son started school, I had to get up at 5:30, which is not fun for me, but I had to add 30 minutes because I had to take 30 minutes to be able to get him ready to send him off to school. So I started getting up at 5:30. And so number one, if you don't talk yourself out of it, try it and see if it works for you. Okay. Because I think that you'll be pleasantly surprised with starting your day off with something positive, how that rolls into the rest of your day. And the other thing that I was going to say, I just totally blanked on the other thing that I was going to say about it, but it just has to go with your mindset and the positive thoughts and the positive feelings, because you guys have probably listened to some sermons or some podcasts or some Audible books, or you've read a book or something. And as soon as you're like, you didn't want to put it down or you wanted more, you like sort of binge listening to certain things because you had that energy. Take that energy. That's why I say, as soon as you're done with it, get into the work, because now you're able to take that energy and now put it into your work instead of now, if you get up early and you just pick up your work and you're not looking forward to it, you're still going to have those negative thoughts and you're not going to want to do it. You're not going to want to. I remember the last thing I was going to say was, if you are a person that likes to talk yourself out of things, this is something that Liz and I have talked about, one of my girls, because we like to talk ourselves out. Or if you have that best friend that's like, oh, just go do it, and they just they're like your yes man. Okay, maybe this isn't the conversation to have with them, because she's my yes man and I'm her yes man. But we had this really deep conversation, and we listened to a podcast, and he talked about habits, and maybe it was Atomic Habits or some version of that. But he talked about how when we create excuses or we try to talk ourselves out of things, it's because we make the alternative look really, really good. But in reality, that alternative really isn't that great. And so that is what I think of literally every morning, because guys, when I say I'm not a morning person, I do not want to get up when my alarm goes off. Mm-hmm. I sit there, I stretch, and I have to tell myself, okay, Val, you can go back to sleep. You can do it. Yeah, sure. Today, you can go back to sleep. That's no big deal. But then I have to capture that thought and I have to say, okay, but if I go back to sleep, I'm going to get up in an hour anyways, because the kids are going to wake me up. Am I really that much rested? Like, if you tell yourself, I'll just sleep in for 10 more minutes, do you really feel more rested after 10 more minutes? Do you really feel more rested 30 minutes in? No, you don't. So go ahead, get out of bed and go and try your non-negotiables. Go do your podcast, go read your Bible, go do whatever, because no matter what time you wake up, you are tired, right? So if you're going to be tired anyways, get up early and get your work done. So then that way you're not feeling the guilt and the mom shame the rest of the day whenever you are trying to get all your kids stuff done. And, but I still haven't worked my business. And now, it's 9:05. I still haven't worked my business today. And so but when I'm done with the Zoom, my phone is getting shut off. I'm going downstairs because I'm done. And so don't let the thing you're trying to, I don't even know how to say it, but the thing that you're trying to talk yourself into, really look at it. Is it really true? Or is it just going to be a distraction that keeps you from that goal that you have, that you claimed over here? Is it going to keep you from your goal, keep you from your consistency, and keep you from moving forward? Because if it is, then it's not a good thing to do. Put it aside and go and do the thing that is going to benefit your business, because you're never going to regret that. You're absolutely never going to regret that. So yes, I get up early. Not everybody does. Some people work late. I'm not a great work late person, but I will when I'm promoting. Atomic Habits. Yes, that's what it was, Liz. Thanks.
We actually just started Atomic Habits, like a book club on our team. And I'm I'm almost done with chapter 4. And I've highlighted I don't know, the whole thing. Yeah. I'm
just highlight the whole book.
Yes, I have a note section in my planner for Atomic Habits, and it is yeah. So if you guys sign, I know some of y'all are doing that, but it is already I'm 50 pages in and it's gold already, so much of it, and it's such obvious things. I feel like when you hear it, you're like, oh well, yeah, that makes perfect sense. And mm-hmm. I can even look back and see the times that I've done these things. I'm like, yeah, mm-hmm, yeah. I don't know why mm-hmm. I need to pick up a book to figure this out, but here I am.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm going to go to the chat and I'm going to pull questions from here, or you guys can just unmute and ask. I know I saw Danny had one. If you feel like you're in a rut, what's the first thing you do to get out of it besides self-development, podcast reading, etc.?
Well, that usually what does it for me. I don't want to skip the question and say, what do you do besides that? But truly that is what I do. I self-develop. When I feel like I'm in a rut, I do it even more. I will be honest, November's been tough on my consistency, and I recognize that. And it's been one of those I've kind of had to push through my consistency. So today I made a decision. I was I'm going to be old Val consistent. I'm going to get this done. But literally all day long, I've either been listening to my Bible, reading my Bible, listening to Stephen Furtick's sermon, listening to this other, I have consumed self-development almost all day long. And I feel wonderful today. I was able, I don't know, I have an accountability chat. I don't even know how many messages I sent. Liz may be able to tell me. I think I was at 70 or 80 today, like between follow-ups and host to post, like I had a good day. I had a really good day working, like felt really good about the KPIs I did. Plus I had coaching, like my podcast, I have coaching stuff on the side. So I was able to do that on top of my business. Plus I made dinner. Plus I washed my hair. Like the only thing I didn't do was shave my legs. And that's because I didn't have my little razors. Okay. Like I had a really good day. But it's because I started off with self-development. And so if you do self-development and you don't feel like I really have it, go find something else. Maybe you need to do more of it, or go find somebody truly that connects with you. I do Audible books, I do podcasts. The really truly the only book I read is my Bible because I highlight it, but I do Audible books a lot. Like those are really just my core ones that I do, but usually that is what kicks, it at least puts me in a good mood. So then I put my KPIs on. So I guess to answer your question, Danny, the second part is I have the KPI on my computer in like a checkoff list, like a daily checkoff list. And I'm a green mind. Not everybody's green, so sorry, but my green mind likes checkoff lists. So I will start at the top, and the first one on my KPI list is self-development. So I check it off and I just work down. Like if you struggle with where do I start today, then go get your KPI list and just start on just do the next one and just do the next one. So I work through that in order, and usually that starts to get my juices flowing. And then I kind of get in the groove after that.
Okay, does anybody have any, I mean, y'all want to put a question in the chat or unmute? While we're waiting to, Val, if you're listening to something, because I like to listen to podcasts, but I like to read books. But if it's not speaking to you, do you just put it aside for another day?
Yeah, I may pick it up another day, but like there's been a couple. Like I do it a lot with Audible books because I like short and sweet stuff, which is why podcasts tend to be my jam, because I'll listen for like 15 minutes and it's done. Sermons usually push me because they're about 45 minutes long, and I have to break that up during the day unless I'm driving. But podcasts usually are really good because they fit into like a busy schedule. Like it's like I'm sitting here, oh, but a kid needs yogurt, and then I'm able to come back, and then oh, but the kid needs to go pee or they pooped or whatever. So my day is kind of like back and forth. I can't really sit down and focus. But if you drive around, like I think of Liz, who drives and like does her home health stuff. So she's on the road for an hour or two at a time. So she could easily knock out an Audible book if she wanted to within a day or two. And so Audible books are really awesome. Some of the Audible books that I have in mine, I have Sun Stand Still by Stephen Furtick. And honestly, that one was a huge game changer for me. I did that right before I went Pres. And so maybe I need to listen to it again. Sun Stand Still, and it's sun like the sun in the sky, S-U-N. Sun Stand Still. Goliath Must Fall by Louis Giglio. That was another good one. Here's one that I started, but I will be honest, I never finished it. It's How to Lead When You're Not in Charge. That one was really good for maybe if you are a Ruby or you are a distributor, or maybe if you're even a diamond and you have like a double and a triple and a Pres all ahead of you, and you just don't feel like you have the authority to lead, or you're kind of scared, maybe you want to lead, but you're afraid you're going to step on toes. How to Lead When You're Not in Charge is a really good book for leaders to listen to, because it gives you perspective on your team and be able to see past a rank as leadership. And then also if you are one of those that wants to move up, that one is really good for just changing your mindset and be able to expand your wings and be able to speak up and be able to go. Happy Money, like some of these I haven't even finished, like Happy Money, Louder Than Words, Awaken the Giant Within, like some of those I have, but I didn't really finish. I really like Stephen Furtick. Greater by Stephen Furtick and Crash the Chatterbox were two really good ones for me too. Grace Over Grind was a really good one. That's an auto, and that one's short too. It's like an hour and something long. Grace Over Grind by Shay Bynes. And I'm working on You Can Do Hard Things by Sherry Lynn. I'll call it. That's on here. Look, Atomic Habits is on here, but I didn't finish it. Yeah, it's still there. So those are Audible books. I have like a Audible subscription. So I get like a credit a month to be able to get Audible books. So there's those. I think somebody asked, what are my favorite podcasts? Okay, so my favorite podcast is the Big Life Devotional Podcast by Pamela Krim. It's this yellow, if you guys can see my screen, it's this yellow one right here. She does one a day and they're like 15 minutes long. They're really good to get you back on track, especially with the Lord and just keeping you focused. One that I have been loving, guys, get this one. Okay, it is Craig Rochelle, the Leadership Podcast. So he's the pastor of the Life Church, which his sermons are really good too. But it's Craig Rochelle, Leadership Podcast. And I can screenshot this and send it to you, Stormy. The Craig Rochelle Leadership Podcast.
I've listened to that one a few times.
Yes, I have been binge listening like crazy. Listen to the very latest one. It's a Q&A with Lisa TerKeurst. Number one, I love it because Lisa TerKeurst is a woman, and she's a woman in leadership and a woman in ministry who is leading. So I love that. But she's talking about her book, Forgiveness. And I related it very much to our business because we have a hard time with letting people go, or we have a hard time with wounds whenever we have somebody who is a distributor and maybe even was a quality distributor who contributed to your team, and now they are no longer here, and you hold some resentment back to them. How forgiveness can truly change your organization. Also having a culture of being able to, with forgiveness, have grace. And so if there are ideas that come to play, having a culture on your organization where if a newer person wants to come in and say, hey, like I think of Marissa, I don't know if she's on the Zoom right now, but like Marissa talked about at Diamond Week, and she's like, I have ideas, but I never said it. Like, I want to be able to have that culture so she can feel like she can come to me and say, Val, I have this idea. Can we try it? And we'll say, yeah, let's do it. And you know what? If we fail and it doesn't work out, there is grace for her, for me to be able to go to her and say, that's okay. Let's do another one. I don't want you to feel defeated because this didn't work out. So that one I just listened to and it was really, really good. But that one has been like my latest one. And the last one that I really like, it's not Christian, but it's still a good one. It's the Life Coach School with Brooke Castillo. And if you scroll to the very beginning, she does jealousy, comparison, money, guilt, all of those like basic emotions she goes through. And she's a really good life coach. I really like hers too. I got a ton. Like I can talk about like what I listen to because I listen to it all day long. I'll keep you guys on here for another hour telling you who I listen to.
Do you like the Empower Her one? They're super short and I don't know. I really like those.
I have never listened to it. So I will.
I'll screenshot you. I'll screenshot it to me. Yeah. Also, you can listen to mine if you want. Listen to my podcast, guys. Drop your link. Shameless plug. No
shameless
pressure.
Plug for the Beautifully Enough podcast. Go listen, subscribe, comment.
I actually know some of my girls that are on here that listen to it.
I know so many of you guys. Thank you guys for sharing that too.
Okay, well, if you guys don't have anything else, then we can hop off, and we've been right at 45 minutes. So that's usually like right around the time I try to do. So keep it around, but thank you so much for hopping on, Val. I know like it's your husband's first day off and you could have been doing family things.
How do you feel being Mr. Mom today? Because he had to take the kids to get haircuts and I ordered groceries, but then he had to put them away. And then we have the new cat and he has not been nice. The cat has not been nice to him today and has gotten stuck up on the cabinets. And so he's like, I'm going to kill the cat. I'm going to kill the cat. And I was like, well, this is what I do like on a daily basis. You realize this, right? Plus
he's ready to go back to work.
Yeah. He's like, can I go back tomorrow?
So, my job is easier than these kids and this cat.
Yeah, I'd rather deal with fans screaming at me, telling me how to do my job and give me a headset than deal with 2 kids and a cat and groceries and the dishes. That's what he'd rather deal with.
I think I would too. No, I'm sure.
Well, thank you guys for having be me. And my
Yep.
DMs are always open, by the way. Like if you guys have questions, like do not hesitate to message me. I am not the leader that's gonna like, I don't need to answer you. Like, no, I will answer. Please message me. I love you guys and I'm all about it. And I will talk to anybody who needs me to talk to them. So
Well, thank you so much. And just real quick, you guys remember Christina does a power hour at 9:30. So once we shut it down, we'll hop back on at 9:30. So